My friends, I'd like to take a moment to share with you the heartwarming tale of America's only patriotic rich person, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, as you may know, is leading the charge to call for higher taxes on rich Americans out of a selfless love for the poor. Now, I occasionally lurk in the comments section of websites popular with the youths, and even among the Occupy Wall Street foot soldiers, you will see comments like, well, at least there's one decent one-percenter, or finally, someone without greed, or he seems like a great guy, let's kill him last. Joining me now to plumb the depths of this great man's soul are our trifecta stalwarts, Steve Green and Scott Ott. Welcome, lads. Now, turns out there's one wee little problem with the Buffett rule of raising taxes on the super wealthy. The Buffett rule likely will not apply to Warren Buffett. So, Steve, let's start with you. Here are some inconvenient truths. According to the Wall Street Journal, the bulk of the Buffett rule would hit in the form of taxes on dividends and capital gains. Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, doesn't pay dividends, and Buffett himself has said he plans to hide his capital gains income in the Gates Foundation and other charitable trusts. Sounds kind of like a guy trying to volunteer you for social work and take the credit for being so generous with his time, doesn't it?
You know, there's an awful lot to respect about Warren Buffett. There really is. You know, he's invested in a lot of great companies. He's created a lot of jobs. And you know what? He's made tons of money, and that is not shameful. Making money is a wonderful thing. Profits are they're a moral good. We have to keep repeating that profits are good. But the taxes Buffett wants to impose will make it harder for the relative little guy, for the next Warren Buffett starting out, to become the next billionaire. So Buffett's made his, and now he wants to lock the rest of us out to protect his fortune from competition. And he's willing to use the naked force of government to do it while claiming moral superiority. It makes me sick. It really does.
Well, you're not the only one. Now, Scott, let's delve into the giant morass known as Secretary Gate. There's so many details here. Let's just get to the basics. Warren Buffett claimed that his secretary paid a higher tax rate than he did. Therefore, the system is unjust. People have done the math. There's all kinds of numbers floating around, but it looks like his secretary makes between $200,000 or $500,000 a year, which is appropriate for the senior administrative assistant to the third richest man in the world. What is going on here with this whole secretary thing, Scott?
Well, frankly, any secretary of Warren Buffett's who's paying a higher tax rate than Warren Buffett is, to me, that is grounds for firing her. She's obviously incompetent. It may be grounds for Mr. Buffett to resign as chairman of his corporation because he has somehow brought on staff somebody who doesn't have the savvy to be able to avoid paying a higher tax rate than Warren Buffett does. It's an absurdity. It's buffoonery to see the president giving his State of the Union address and having that woman sitting up in the balcony as if he just picked her up off the street and she was holding up a sign that says, "We'll work for tax advice."
That's awesome. Okay, guys, let's get to the why of all of this. Now, Buffett is lauded by President Obama at every turn for his selflessness in calling for higher taxes that he will not have to pay. Buffett's secretary sat next to the First Lady during the recent State of the Union address. It's a cover. This whole thing is a fig leaf for raising taxes. That's Obama's angle. But what does Buffett get out of it? Steve, am I cynical to notice that his pal Barack Obama canceled the Canadian oil pipeline and that the oil from the region will continue to be shipped at great expense by rail on a railroad owned by Warren Buffett?
Yeah, 50 extra cents a gallon at the pump, and a good chunk of that goes right into Warren Buffett's pocket. So hey, it's a happy accident, Bill. It's a happy accident that Nancy Pelosi made tons of money on insider stock deals on bills she helped to write. It's a happy accident that, this is my favorite one, that George Soros is making tons of money on Brazilian offshore oil fields after Obama practically shut down American drilling in the Gulf, and he guaranteed the loans to Brazil. And the media is just snoozing through all this, talking about Mitt Romney's personal tax returns or Newt Gingrich's everything. While the real story of the day is that American taxpayers are being fleeced to make billionaires even richer. But you know what? That is what Democrat class warfare comes down to every time.
Yes, sir. And the media is the enemy. Steve Green hosts the Weekend Blogs and the Hair of the Dog segments right here at PJTV. Scotty, let's cut to the chase. What the heck's going on here?
Well, I just want to make sure. I think I may have given Steve bad information yesterday. I think that 50 extra cents is 50 extra cents a barrel. But what's going on here is the Obama administration needs a poster child, and finding this noble, wealthy man who somehow has escaped the ravages of greed and despicableness that all of the Occupy Wall Street movement is against. Somehow, I mean, this guy who should be the poster child, he should be on every picture that Occupy Wall Street holds up and saying, this is what's wrong with America. Not only is he rich and probably must have gotten ill-gotten gains, but he's in bed with government in the most intimate way that sometimes when Barack Obama rolls over in bed, he says, hey, Warren.
Some things you cannot unsee. Somebody get me some bleach for my eyes. Look for the latest installment of Freedom's Charter, that's Scott Ott's remarkable series on the Constitution, and it's right here at PJTV. Okay, folks, play along with me here for a second. Close your right eye and look downward and to the right. Now, close your left eye and look downward to the left. Both cases, you'll see your nose. See? See your nose? It's right there. Now look around normally. You're going to be aware of your nose for a few moments, and then your brain will filter it out. Your nose is always in your field of vision, always. But your brain will just stop seeing it. Now, Warren Buffett did not get to be the third richest man in the world by being a teddy bear. He is insanely brilliant. The man who does everything in his power to avoid paying taxes, and I have read that his companies owe about $1 billion in back taxes, has positioned himself as a patriot for calling for new taxes that he won't have to pay. He's made himself a hero among the Occupy types who presumably will eat him last, and provided the kind of political cover to his pal and business partner, there's that oil pipeline thing, that you can't buy for real money. And like the nose on your face, he's doing all of these things in plain sight, and we just don't see it until it's pointed out to us. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.